Okay, well, good afternoon to everyone. I am Michelle Monica Wanda Pantaleon, and you can just call me Michelle.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. My name is Agustinus Narendra Anggino Amadeus and you can call me Rendra.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Krista Deka Saribrata, and you can call me Krista. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the government team. Now it's time for the opposite team to introduce your team members.
Very good afternoon, all of the participants that attend here. As an opposition leader, it's time for me to introduce my team. Me, Leo, is the first speaker. Our second speaker is Edgar, followed by our third speaker, Vito. We are happy to make your acquaintance and compete in today's debate. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for the opposite team. Okay, are you guys ready? Okay, so now the time will be given to our Prime Minister from government team. You have 7 minutes and 20 seconds to define your motions and give your arguments.
So I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the honorable judges, timekeeper, moderator, and our beloved partner. Ladies and gentlemen, our motion today talk about this house belief that handphone should be banned at schools. Ladies and gentlemen, and we from the government team totally agree with these motions. As a society, we are constantly feeling the need to be seen by a massive amount of people. We are growing more and more independent for instant gratifications in order to feel included. The truth is that we are spending a huge proportions in a digital universe, and it is corrupting our way that we act to each other. The definitions of the motions that we take in here, the first keyword is handphone, is a technology in a form of mobile devices that given to access to the many things without any limitations. And in this case, we're talking about the use of mobile phone in schools. Then our main actors in here is the students itself. And ladies and gentlemen, the mobile phones can access many things. So we're talking about the accessibility of the mobile phones. Can it actually bring positive or negative impact for students? And that is why our motion today is talking about eliminations. And the word banned in here is we have to eliminate, abolish, and the whole thing that related to schools without any exceptions and criminalizing students who use it more, ladies and gentlemen. 2 points of argument that we'll be delivering in here. The first is human's brain will be corrupted by the existence of handphone. And the second is the use of mobile phone will increase the individuality. The first point will be explained by me, Michelle, as the Prime Ministers. The second point will be explained by Rendra as the Deputy of Prime Ministers, and our argument will be concluded by Krista as the Government Whip. Ladies and gentlemen, the purpose of school is to teach the students on how to grow their intelligence and knowledge.
Interruption, please.
No, thank you. And their characters for the good of their own futures. Of course, mobile phones provided a bunch of information, and the students have this accessibility. Yes, please? The first speaker.
So, all of the problems that you contained before, it is because the use of handphone in excessive way. So, it is correct to limit the use of handphone in school, not to eliminate the use of handphone in school because it have several positive impacts. I'm eager to know your opinion about that, madam.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if we're talking about limitations of phones in schools, students, they want something simple and easy. Can you guarantee that students can actually correct or actually apply the limitations in their daily life, ladies and gentlemen, or in the learning systems? And also, ladies and gentlemen, if we were talking about how the students use the mobile phones, we cannot control the students as an individuals. Continue, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, if we're talking about the existence of mobile phones, we can see in the real situations, ladies and gentlemen. With the existence of mobile phones, everything is easy, isn't it? But, ladies and gentlemen, we have to consider many things. No, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, based on the research that updated by Professor Hantosa Sujono, that updated on 7 June 2023, please let me continue my argument. Problem solving is very important. Ladies and gentlemen, problem-solving skills are closely related to various factors, so such as listening skills, research, creativity. And ladies and gentlemen, the school used the assessments for the students. Yes, please?
you contained it about how we can guarantee that students can get control. Please keep in mind that according to Compasana.com in March 30, 2024, that 75% students in Indonesia gets benefit because they bring happy handphone to school. It helped them to in learning activities. I'm eager to know your opinion about that, madam.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, please keep in your deepest mind that if we were talking about individuality, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about students. It is what we see from the teacher's perspective. But what about the students itself? Ladies and gentlemen, the students, I already stated before that they want something easy and simple. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot guarantee, even though the students have benefits or not, it's not actually guaranteed that the benefits they have is from their own ability. Continue, ladies and gentlemen. Well, if we're talking about students' assessments, can the mobile phones actually guarantee that the teachers will know the students' real abilities and capabilities? Ladies and gentlemen, teachers often to give the students a task or maybe homework to actually test their understanding in the learning systems and also test about how they understand the materials. But ladies and gentlemen, please let me continue my argument. But ladies and gentlemen, in the current fact, the students only use mobile phones as the way for them to get the good grades. So ladies and gentlemen, yes please.
Up to the present, you can find so many QR codes that will provide that we need handphone with students to use to improve their knowledge in school. I'm eager to know your opinion about that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, talking about knowledge, then we're also talking about assessments. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot see one individual from another perspective. They know about themselves. They know about what they use the mobile phones into their own way. So, ladies and gentlemen, based on the ruangguru.com, that 64% students in Indonesia, it just copy and paste the answer from mobile phones without even analyzing. Ladies and gentlemen, mobile phones might provide many updated informations, but what about the students' capabilities and abilities? Ladies and gentlemen, it has access to many things. Even the
May I say something, please,
yes,
madam?
yes, please.
Please keep in mind that 77%.
Okay, so let me continue. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to focus on the purpose of the school itself. What is the purpose of the schools? To improve the students' cheating skills, to improve the students' laziness. No, it is not, ladies and gentlemen. We have to consider not what we see from the government, from the teacher's perspective, but we see on the individuals. What is the student's mindset, ladies and gentlemen? Why now, ladies and gentlemen, continue to the economic sectors, and not only that, in the crime sectors, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, based on the BPS data updated on March 2023 in Indonesia, 25.19 million people still suffering on poverty. Ladies and gentlemen, allowing mobile phone in school, it means that we're going to use mobile phones in the learning systems. So, ladies and gentlemen, students are demanded to use the mobile phones or to have the mobile phones. What about people with low economic? Ladies and gentlemen, this also will cause the crime actions in schools. The risk of getting crime action will increase drastically. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, we still totally agree with this motion that this house believes that handphone should be banned at schools, because we have to see what are the students needed and what are the students going to use the mobile phones for further users. That is all my argument. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the Prime Minister from government. Now it's time for the leader of the oppositions to deliver your reasonings. Time is yours.
Kylian Mbappe has a good position. Cristiano Ronaldo has built good generation. Based on our motion, we totally disagree with our motion. Very good afternoon, all of the participants that attend here. We, the opposition team, totally strongly and absolutely disagree with our motion today, which says this house believes that handphone should be banned in school. Before moving any forward to my arguments, I'd like to address and give some responses to what is error from the Prime Minister before. Prime Minister has contained about we cannot guarantee that the teacher itself can control their students to use handphone. But please keep in mind that according to Katadata.com in February 2024 that students can bring cell phones or handphone to schools. But to prevent the problems that can caused by handphone itself, it will be the responsible of teacher to control. And then we have to see that several positive impacts that coming from handphone itself. Please keep in mind that according to antaranews.com, January 21, 2024, the 71% students in Java and Bali use TikTok via mobile phones to have a learning process. And then 77% people in Bandung, Sulawesi, Papua, West Nusa Tenggara use handphones to learn in schools, which means that handphone itself have their own positive impacts, and it will guarantee that students can bring handphones in schools because it have several positive impacts that we will explain to you deep more in my elaborate arguments. So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into my arguments. Please keep in mind that handphones itself has their own positive impacts on our society, exactly for the students in the schools. We have several arguments, data, and facts that will prove our position today is right, and we will become the winner in this debating competition. Please keep in mind that several positive impacts that we can get by using handphone itself. The first, access information related to learning. Please keep in mind that, ladies and gentlemen, I've already contained it to all of us today that handphone itself has their own several positive impacts, that lots of students in Indonesia use handphones to access information related to learning process, and then makes communication with parents easier. When they are getting sick or have problems in schools, they will
Interruption, please.
Yes, please, for the first speaker.
Okay, so your statement before, you were talking about the responsibility of the teachers to actually control the students. Ladies and gentlemen, they did not consider about the students itself. One teacher control 30 students. Can you actually
got your
guarantee
point,
that they
sir.
will fulfill their responsibility and maximals?
Your question is simple, so let me answer with a simple answer too. Please keep in mind that I've already contained it to you that teachers has already controlled their students via data that I have already proved to you. So where were you when I proved this data to all of us? So let's jump back into my arguments. Please keep in mind that handphone itself has their own several positive impacts on the students itself that I've already proved to you before. And then the third itself, increased knowledge about technology itself. Handphone itself, we know that it is a part of technology. When we use handphone, we have the accessibility to use these mobile phones, and then we can get knowledge to use technology which is have a positive impacts on our
Please.
daily life. Yes, please, for the first speaker.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the first speaker from the opposition team just rely on data without even explain how is it working, ladies and gentlemen. So the data that they propose should be questioned.
I've got your point, so now let me respond to it. According to data that I have already proved to you, which means that it's crystal clear that handphone itself have positive impacts on the students itself that I've already contained it to you before. So please listen carefully and catch my point. Catch my phone carefully. So let's jump back into my argument, sir. Let's jump back into my argument, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, that when we bring handphones into school, it can help students in learning, can easily to find materials, and then make learning more effective and improve the ability to interact and communicate directly. Where I have already explained to you that according to Compasiana.com in March 30, 2024, that Ministry of Religion says that 75% students in Indonesia get benefits because bring handphone to schools. Handphone helps them in learning activities and all of the positive impacts all of the activity in schools that I've already proved to you all. So to make it clear that according to katadata.com that February 2024 that students can bring cell phones or handphones to schools. But to prevent the problems that can cause by handphone, it will be the responsible of teacher to control them to use handphones in correct way. I have acceptable with your arguments that says that a handphone itself have negative impacts. But please keep in mind, I've already explained to you that to prevent these problems, a teacher can play an important role.
POI, please.
Hold on a moment, madam. Please give me a time to finish this part. Please keep in mind that teacher itself has the responsibility to control the students, and then the control of teachers itself has been useful because I've already proved to you the data that clearly shows that lots of students in Indonesia use handphone as a learning tool. Yes, please, for the third speaker.
Okay, they stated before that the phone itself can help students to interact with each other. But ladies and gentlemen, are the opposition team sure that handphone can help students to interact? Or beside that, the student itself just playing on their phone, which means that they did not interact with each other. Yes.
Now let me respond to it. This is a simple question, so I will answer with a simple answer too. Please keep in mind that I guarantee that students will communicate directly via social media, and they can learn with another part of students in its schools. that I've already mentioned to you just a few seconds ago. So where were you when I answered this question and I've already explained about this part? So please listen carefully and catch my phone carefully too. Please keep in mind that, ladies and gentlemen, handphone itself can bring several positive impacts in our daily life. Exactly when the students itself bring handphones to school. So that's why that we don't need to ban handphone in schools, but we need to prevent the problems that caused by handphones by the role of teacher itself to control their students, to have their correct way to use handphones to very useful. Please keep in mind that to make it clear, I will strengthen my arguments again with our data. That according to Compassionate.com, that 75% students in Indonesia get benefits because they bring handphone to schools. Handphone help them in learning activities. And then according to Katadata.com, that February 2024, students can bring cell phones to school. But to prevent the problems, it will be the responsible of teacher. So I see a beautiful girl. She is looking at me. Please don't be struggle because we will be the winner. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for the leader of the oppositions. Now we jump to the deputy of prime ministers. The time is yours.
Check. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, everyone. The honorable educator, moderator, timekeeper, and our beloved partner from the opposition team. Ladies and gentlemen, our motion today is this House believe that handphones should be banned at school. And we from the government team, I state again that we strongly agree with our motion today. Before delivering my argument, let me give only one response to the opposition team. The response is the first speaker from the opposition team already said that he will give the data about the data to guarantee that the limitation of the handphone in school, but until he finish his speech, he don't give any data about the limitation of handphone in school. He only give the data about 70% of all students in Indonesia that use the handphone. So let me continue to my speech. Ladies and gentlemen, this handphone, we already know that this handphone can make us to forget with the people around us, ladies and gentlemen, like family, couple, and also in school, our best friend, ladies and gentlemen. And it is proof by simple example that you will, when you call your friend that they are focusing on using handphone, they will not respond your call, ladies and gentlemen. So it is the bad character that can be built in school, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember that Doni Kusuma, as the founder of Character Education Consulting, have remembered us in 2022 that the handphone can make us forget with the people around us, ladies and gentlemen. So this proof by
Interruption, please.
yes, please.
What about the student that get scholarship into abroad, then they keep contact with their family with using handphones? I'm eager to know your opinion about that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this based on the motion that the handphone, we only ban it in school, ladies and gentlemen. So when we go abroad and we want to give the information to our family in another country, we can give the information after we go back to home and after our time in school, ladies and gentlemen. So let me continue to my argument. Doni Kusuma have remembered to tell to us to remember that this phone bring the negative impact in individuality or social problem to the children in school, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen,
May I
we
say
already
something,
know.
please?
No, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we already know that if we addicted to use handphone, it will cause the health problem, ladies and gentlemen.
May I say something, please?
No, sir. It will be increase the using of handphone in school, ladies and gentlemen, and also when we back to our home, ladies and gentlemen.
May I say something, please, sir?
Yes, sir.
You contended that we don't give the clear data about the role of teacher. But when I prove you the data that students use this incorrect way, it's crystal clear the teacher has already played an important role to put their students in a correct way to use handphone itself. I'm eager to know your opinion to talk about that, sir.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this data actually, I can give you the simple example that the situation that happened in our school, ladies and gentlemen, that even if the two teachers come into the classroom, ladies and gentlemen, there are the students that still playing handphone, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe they give their head to be seen by their teacher, but ladies and gentlemen, their eyes focusing on their phone that they play out before under the table. No, thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, continue that handphone can result the health problem, ladies and gentlemen, and it is proved that and we know that the problem is the eye problem and also the mind problem, ladies and gentlemen.
Please, sir?
Yes, sir.
Their arguments is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep in mind, they contended about our schools. Many students still focus on their pleasure. But please keep in mind, I've already continued to use that 75% students in Indonesia use handphone and gets benefits for their handphones. I'm eager to know your opinion to talk about that, sir.
Okay, so thank you for your question, sir. But can you guarantee that 70% of the students all in Indonesia that use handphone is used to the good one, not the better one? That I mean here is playing game, even if the student is inside the classroom, ladies and gentlemen, because student can play the game that when the teachers do not and make the teachers do not know they are playing the game, ladies and gentlemen. Let me continue to my argument. According to Mawarpuri 2022, the impact of the addicted of handphone is losing work that they already planned, ladies and gentlemen. No, sir. I will give you simple example that when students have planned to do something that give by their teacher, no, sir, and they will forget to do this job because they playing the handphone and feel fun when they're playing the handphone. Yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me continue. Second is withdrawal. Children feel not calm when they do not playing handphone. And ladies and gentlemen, we already know, and we all I think can feel that when we are not using handphone, we will be not calm, and we will only remember about our phone that we are not playing, ladies and gentlemen. And the next is social gap, ladies and gentlemen. Before the student need to get the handphone, ladies and gentlemen. But how about the poor family that cannot buy the handphone to their children, ladies and gentlemen? And the next is this the problem about the stealing phone, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine that the student phone will lost in their school, ladies and gentlemen. And the next is cyberbullying and also the hate speech that can exist in the social platform that the student use, and also the cheating, ladies and gentlemen, in doing their exam. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the Deputy of Prime Minister. Now, we're moving on to the Deputy Leader of the opposite team.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity given to me. I, as a Deputy Leader of opposition team, would like to state that we, the opposition team, really disagree with our motion today, which says this House believes that handphones should be banned at schools. Before going any further with my arguments, I'd like to highlight and give some responses to the government side. The Prime Minister said that we cannot guarantee that students have mindset to use handphone as a learning media, ladies and gentlemen. But based on the data that we have delivered to you, 75% of students in Indonesia use handphone as a learning media, ladies and gentlemen. So that it proves that majority of students in Indonesia has mindset to use handphone as a learning media, ladies and gentlemen. The second, the arguments coming from the Deputy Prime Minister. He contended that because of there is poor families who cannot buy more handphones for their children. It means that we should ban handphone at schools. But here, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't mean that we should do that, ladies and gentlemen, because of what the implementation of handphone at schools is not a must, ladies and gentlemen, so that the students can bring or not, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump into my arguments. Well, the educational system now in Indonesia, we can see the educational system in Indonesia, especially on our textbooks from Merdeka Curriculum, provides the use of handphone, ladies and gentlemen, such as QR codes on our textbooks, ladies and gentlemen. How can we access the information coming from the QR code if we don't have handphone, ladies and gentlemen? So that from the government itself, they have
Interruption, please.
Wait a minute, madam. From the government itself has provided for school to allow students to bring handphone to schools, ladies and gentlemen, so that they can access features that has digital features that has been provided by the government through the textbooks.
PI, please.
Yes.
But are you sure that the QR code that provided in books is will use in the learning systems at school? Because ladies and gentlemen, the barcode that explained or already provided in the books itself is for home learning barcode. So please got details for the more information about the barcode.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, QR code contains many more information, specific information about the subject, about the materials that students learn at school, so that when students bring handphones to school, they can access the information so that they can learn more, ladies and gentlemen. It's very beneficial, it's very profitable. So that we, once again, the opposition team suggests that schools should allow students to bring handphones to schools, ladies and gentlemen. Well,
POI, please.
let me finish this part.
Okay.
The students now are Gen Z generation, which who are the native users of technology, ladies and gentlemen. And one of the closest technology that they use in their everyday life is handphone, ladies and gentlemen. So that we cannot just ban.
Interruption, please.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, they're talking about 75% of students have benefit by using phone at school. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to consider it. It's the 75%. It means that it's considered with the school in the first from the elementary school, junior high school, and also high school, ladies and gentlemen. But in elementary school, we see that students itself have a psychological that is not mentally ready. So if they bring phone to school, are you sure that we can really control their act in school? So please give a response about that.
You just focus on the elementary school or primary school, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to say that students in primary school are more easily to be controlled, ladies and gentlemen, because they will just follow the comment from adults, ladies and gentlemen. So that there will be no problem about the psychological problems about the use of handphones by primary school students. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just what I have said to you before, the students now are the native users of technology, so that we need to, and one of the closest technology that they use in their everyday lives is our handphones, ladies and gentlemen. So that they use when we allow students to use handphones in schools, they can get so many bad impacts.
Yeah, please.
Wait a minute, madam. Especially in learning activity, ladies and gentlemen. Just what I have said to you before, 75% of students in Indonesia use handphones as a learning media, ladies and gentlemen.
POI, please.
Yes.
If we're talking about the government, the teacher itself can make a regulation or limitate the student in using phone in school. Why is it that regulation is not implemented until now? Because, ladies and gentlemen, according to ruangguru.com, there is 74 students that still copy paste their answer from the internet. It means that the government, the teacher itself cannot control the act of the student itself. So please give your response about that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, but here we need to consider also that handphones give so many positive impacts for students learning, ladies and gentlemen. The main activity of students at school is learning, ladies and gentlemen. So that if we can use handphones as a learning media, it's very good, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'd like to continue my argument. Based on Good Stats ID in 2023. 80% of students in Indonesia have had handphones, ladies and gentlemen. And there is a prediction in 2025, the number will be increased up to 89%, ladies and gentlemen. It means that more and more students will get benefits from the use of handphones in schools, ladies and gentlemen. And also, with the existence of Merdeka curriculum, which adapt with the world change and technology, ladies and gentlemen, it means that the implementation of handphones at schools is very necessary and it's very exact with the schools now, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, at the end of the day, we, the opposition team, still disagree with our motion today, which says this House believes that handphones should be banned at schools. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the deputy leader of the opposition team. Now, moving on to the government whip speaker. You're good to go.
I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. We cannot guarantee that student itself can be controlled by the teacher in terms of using phone at school. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the honorable educator, timekeeper, moderator, Notulen, and my beloved opposition team. Well, our motion today talk about this House belief that handphone should be banned at school, and we from the government team totally agree with this motion. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our purpose in school is to increase our competencies and also our knowledge. But ladies and gentlemen, with the existence of phone, this phone is trying and start to disrupt our concentrating level. Ladies and gentlemen, two arguments that have been stated by our Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister. First is human's brain will be corrupting with the existence of handphone, and the second is the using of phone in school will increase the individuality. Ladies and gentlemen, before I going right into my argument, I would like to give the opposition team some rebuttal. First, ladies and gentlemen, they say that giving limitation to the student is the best way to actually control so that the bad impact will not gonna disrupt the children. But ladies and gentlemen, limitation is just we stop the children by using phone. But ladies and gentlemen, there is another probability that the student is will always gonna experience that negative impact. Ladies and gentlemen, one of it is criminalization. We know that bring phone to school can increase the probability of our phone being stolen by the other. And if we're talking about phone, ladies and gentlemen, not all students have phone. That's why if one student is will empty with the other friends, they can steal their friend's phone. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they're also talking about this phone can bring benefit to student, and one of it, of course, is increase our knowledge. But ladies and gentlemen, considering our data that we got from Ruangguru, that much of student and it is 74% of student is got instant mental because they're just copy their answers from Google. It means that their knowledge did not increase. Well, I'll continue to my argument. Ladies and gentlemen, allowing students.
May I say something, please, madam?
Yes, please.
Your arguments are unbelievable. You just talk about one perspective and you don't clearly shows that the correct data about students that use handphone just for their pleasure, because according for our data that lots of students in Indonesia use handphone as a learning tool. I'm eager to know your opinion to talk about that, madam.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, they also did not consider about the other perspective, which is the negative impact by phone at school. Because if we see in our real situation that the using of phone in school is still cannot be controlled by the teacher itself. I'll continue to my argument. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about using phone in school. First, human brains will be corrupting. Why, ladies and gentlemen? If we're talking about human brains, means that there we're talking about how the student itself having an increase in their
Interruption, please.
no, thank you. Their knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. But if this phone is still exists in our students in the school, it means that student itself can getting disrupted by the existence of phones. And it means that if the using of phone itself is cannot be controlled, ladies and gentlemen, means that our community or
May I
our
say
student
something,
itself,
please, madam?
no, thank you, that our community itself will having a decrease in the productivity level. Yes, please.
Interruption, please, madam. They keep describe about the students cannot be controlled, but according to data that 75% students in Indonesia use handphone as a learning tool. It's crystal clear that teachers has already play an important role to put their students in a correct way to use handphones. I'm eager to know your opinion to thought about that, madam.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, but we have to see and consider it again that even according to compass.com, there is still many schools that not give any limitation to the students by using phone at school. And if the government itself making some regulation, why until now the number of bad impacts to the student at school is still increased, ladies and gentlemen. I will continue with my argument. Ladies and gentlemen, talking about instant mental, it means that our students just rely or depends with anything that provided by the phone itself. Ladies and gentlemen, this no thank you. This can disrupt to their brain and their competence, which makes them make them confused, and also they can. Yes, please.
You cannot guarantee that we now can separate handphone from students because they are native users and they can use handphones as a tool of their education. I'm eager to know your opinion about that.
But ladies and gentlemen, talking about the using of phone in school, if the using of phone in school is banned, the student can still using phone for learning tools at home. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll continue. Ladies and gentlemen, it will affect it to our productivity level because if student itself being disrupted with the existence of phone, it can bring harm to them because, ladies and gentlemen.
May I say something, please?
No, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, according to UNESCO, state that handphone at school prove that it is disrupt the learning process of student in school. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if we're talking about economy level, there is still many of our students that did not have phone.
Please, madam?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'd like to say that the most effective time for students to learn to do their education is at schools, ladies and gentlemen, so that the use of handphones at schools is very beneficial for their learning.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, but the using of phone is at home is also effective because if we're talking about the using of phone in the school, it means that the teacher itself that giving limited to the children, and if the phone is using by student at home, it means that their parents also control and also limited the using of phone at home. So why not so why not the parents also control the students act in controlling their students in their using phone at home? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if we're talking about criminalization, even according to the data that we got from Tristianingsi, that there is a case in SMPN 2 in Sleman that there is many students, about 50 more students that having their phone stealed by the other friends, which means that there cannot close the possibility, even if there is still a regulation, this cannot close the possibility of the other bad impacts or other negative impact will happen to the students, ladies and gentlemen. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if we are talking about social problems, then we have to consider it how the social problem is still increased in our community, or what you call phubbing. It means that when you are in a community that you have to interact with each other, you're just playing on your phone and don't care about your environment, which means that your interaction level is disrupted also by the existence of phone. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, we still strongly agree with this motion because at the end, phone can also be using at home, not just at school. So why not in school we using the other alternative like computer that exists in school, and also books, ladies and gentlemen, because it can also increase our literacy level. So at the end of the day, we still strongly agree with our motion today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the third speaker from the government team. Now the time will be given to the last speaker from the opposite team. You have 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the opposition team totally and strongly disagree with the motion today, which says this House believes that handphones should be banned in school. Before moving to my argument, I'd like to rebut and criticize the main point coming from the side of government team. They always contended again and again that handphone will be detrimental the activities of students itself. But please keep in mind, and they don't realize up to the present that now as the government, they are already making a policy that will grant the student to use handphone as a tool, as a media for them to learn more, especially about the implementation of the Merdeka curriculum itself. Merdeka curriculum give more room for students to learn more and express themselves. Of course, it will provide with QR code that have in book that up to the present students needs QR code with access with handphones to get more knowledge, to learn more. Okay, let's jump right into my argument. We have to realize more about the positive impact that we can get from the using of handphone itself, especially in schools. Nowadays, we cannot separate students from handphone and on everyday life. Everyone, especially students in this era, especially will feel missing if they don't use handphone itself. And as a students, we have the young generation, we have to be grateful because now the government have so many policies that will support us to develop ourselves through using
On this
handphone.
point, please.
Hold on a moment, madam, please. Let me continue my argument. Through using handphones, actually, we can be greatest learner. Why do I say so? Because we can access more. You can find so many libraries up to the present right now with use handphone itself.
Interruption, please.
Yes, please, the first speaker.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, they were talking about the implementations of Merdeka curriculums. That is also a real manifestation of technology, isn't it? But why? Based on the Ministry of Education of Indonesia, the government provide 40.1 trillion to actually distribute computer and laptop to the schools. It means that indirectly, the government support the students to actually use the facilities that they
I get
provide.
your point, madam. Your question seems to be complicated up to now. And please keep in mind, now, if you said the government supplies money to buy a laptop, but we cannot run from the reality now that shows that majority students use handphones as a tool for them to learn more. Let me go back to my argument. As the young generation too, especially Gen Z and Alpha generation, all of the people around the world already knows that we have lack concentration. Yeah, we have lack concentration, and we need application. We need tools that will support us to learn more. Of course, we need handphone. What application that I will example to you? Through TikTok application, we can use it because TikTok has so many essential materials that will support us to learn more about so many positive impact. And you can build a humanity. You can know about others' feelings.
PI, please.
Let me finish this part. Please respect me. Okay, let's go back to my argument. We can use handphone as a tool to building a sense of empathy. What is empathy? Empathy is a feeling to know and to share about others' feeling. And as students, especially as Indonesian students, we need these feelings to bring our nation to be better young, to be better good nation. Okay.
PI, please.
Yes, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, if a phone is useful at school, why until now the government also make an effort that the student itself can have to increase their level of literation in books? If the handphone itself is better than book, why the government should support that effort? Ladies and gentlemen, please give your response about that.
I get your point. I'm afraid your argument does not make sense. Why do I say so? Because up to the present, we can see so many applications that we can use to learn and will increase our knowledge as students, especially to face bonus, demographic bonus that will be happen. And we need several life skills to improve our character as a student. And we need all those things.
On this point, please.
Let me finish this part and please be patient. Okay, I will go back to my argument. Based on Antara.com that 71% students in Java and Bali use TikTok as a learning tool via handphone itself. If the government supplies that we, all the schools, to buy laptops, but up to the present, majority of students in Indonesia.
POI, please.
Let me finish this part. Please don't jump the bell. Don't jump the bell, please. And please, you can. We have to know that.
POI, please.
Let me finish this part. You have to be patient. Okay, with of those things that we already explained to you, that we can make conclusion, ladies and gentlemen. We can make conclusion that we have to allow students to bring handphone in schools because it gives many negative, positive impact for students to improve their knowledge, especially as the young generation that will face bonus demographic at 2045. And we need several life skills that are very important. And as all the life skills is supported by using handphone in our schools itself. Okay. As in addition to what my first and second speaker has explained more and explained so clearly to us about the positive impact of handphone itself, we can make conclusion that the handphone should be allowed as of the government should be allowed to students to bring it in school because it will give some many positive impact for students to learn more. Therefore, the time has come for us to consider the positive impact of handphone itself. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, as the third speaker from the opposite team already has ended the arguments, now we come to the conclusions for both groups. The time will be given first to the government team to conclude your reasoning for 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, well to be clear, the honorable judges, timekeeper, moderator, and our beloved partner. Ladies and gentlemen, in this time, I will be delivering why we from the government team should be the winner of this debate. Firstly, ladies and gentlemen, debate. We know that it means the real essence of debate is how we argue to one another, right? But ladies and gentlemen, we see from the opposition side that they only rely on data. Statement, data. Even though our interruptions before only been answered with data. So ladies and gentlemen, the opposition team is a real example of students who only copy and paste the data from the handphone itself without analyzing it. Because ladies and gentlemen, because they did not provide the real detailed explanations. So ladies and gentlemen, that is why we should win this debate, because our statement before has been proving by the existence of the opposition team. Continue, ladies and gentlemen. Also, they stated about we only see from one perspective, ladies and gentlemen. But we explain not just in education sectors, we also explain in economic sectors, criminal sectors, social sectors, ladies and gentlemen. But why the opposition team only explain in the education sectors? So you should pay focus on your own word. Continue, ladies and gentlemen. They were talking about the implementations of this Merdeka curriculum. But ladies and gentlemen, again and again, they didn't provide the detailed information. Ladies and gentlemen, based on the Ministry of Education, that actually, ladies and gentlemen, the government provide 40.1 trillion to distribute the computer and laptop to support the facilities in schools. So why the government provide all that if at the end they only allow the use of mobile phone in schools? It means that, ladies and gentlemen, the opposition team give their statement without analyzing the real essentials of Merdeka curriculum. Continue, ladies and gentlemen. If we are talking about demographic bonus, ladies and gentlemen, the existence of handphone in schools can actually corrupt the existence of the humans itself, ladies and gentlemen, and their skills will decrease drastically. While on demographic bonus, we have to increase our human resources. So, ladies and gentlemen, with the existence of mobile phone, isn't that contradictory with the purpose of this demographic bonus? And this demographic bonus will become a backlash to ourselves. Continue, ladies and gentlemen. In our argument, we just not just stated about the educational sectors, ladies and gentlemen. As well in the educational sectors, if we were talking about the advancements of technology, yes, we are in the era of globalization. We need many informations, ladies and gentlemen. The use of technology in schools is not only from handphone. And why, in this case, we should agree that handphone should be banned in schools. Because, ladies and gentlemen, handphones are freely to use by the students. So, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot guarantee that the students can actually use their cell phones based on their mind and what they want, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, in schools, we provide another technology, computer, laptop, and others. You should really be considerate about that. Continue, ladies and gentlemen. We're not only talking about education, also about economic sectors. Allowing mobile phone in schools means that it'll be using in the learning systems, demanding all the students from all the schools in Indonesia to have the mobile phones. Isn't that, ladies and gentlemen, will causes disparities between the students? Our poverty rate in Indonesia is really high, ladies and gentlemen. So in one schools, there will be half of the students who have the mobile phones, and also half of the students who do not have the mobile phones. Boom, social problems. And also, ladies and gentlemen, the economics continues to the economic sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, this will not cover the possibilities that the students who do not have the mobile phone will cause crime actions, and that is the crime sectors. And also, ladies and gentlemen, social sectors, phubbing. Of course, we all know what that means. One group, ladies and gentlemen, they were talking about empathy. While when we were talking about one individual or our friend, they did not pay attention to our words, but they only paid their attention to their phone. Isn't that what you call empathy? No, it is not. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is why the reason we from the government team should win this debate. Thank you.
Okay, now it's the time for the reply speaker from the opposite team to give the conclusions.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity given to me. I, as the reply speaker from the opposition team, would like to state that we, the opposition team, really disagree with our motion today, which says this House believes that handphone should be banned at schools. Before going any further with our strong points, I'd like to say that this is one of the function of the reply speech is to provide the strong points that can prove that you are right in today's debate, not to just to rebut all arguments that has been delivered by the opposite side. Okay, let's jump into our strong points that can prove that our position today is right. Well, we can use handphones at school as a learning media to support students' learning, ladies and gentlemen. Handphone can be used as learning media. It has been proved by the QR codes that has been provided by the government on our textbooks, ladies and gentlemen. It clearly shows that schools should allow students to bring handphones at school so that they can access that and get more knowledge about the subject that they are learning, ladies and gentlemen. And also, there are so many applications that can used by the students to improve their knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, such as TikTok. With those features through the use of handphones at schools, the students can increase their knowledge, ladies and gentlemen. They will be smarter. And the second point is the most effective time for students to learn is at schools, ladies and gentlemen. How can we guarantee that students will learn at home while they have so many works at home and they will not have time to study, ladies and gentlemen? So that I'd like to say here, we'd like to state that the most effective time for students to learn is at school, so that the honest suggestion for students to use mobile handphones at home is not effective, ladies and gentlemen. Because of what? The most effective time for students to learn is at schools, ladies and gentlemen. And also, the most important thing that students must be paid attention on is education, ladies and gentlemen. So that at schools, in this case, we need to think more about the education, ladies and gentlemen, because the subject here are students, and the most important thing for them is education. The third point is that the students nowadays are the native users of technology, ladies and gentlemen. If they are the native users of technology, it means that they need to use handphones, ladies and gentlemen, especially at schools, so that they can learn more effectively. And in this time, I'd like to address some points that has been delivered by the government team. The government team keep contending that teachers cannot control, so that there will be so many bad impacts coming from the use of handphones at schools, ladies and gentlemen. But from our data, we can know that 75% of students use handphone as a learning media, ladies and gentlemen. It means that if we use the argument coming from the government side, it means that teachers has control on that, and there will be no problem about there will be no problem based on the arguments coming from you. And also, because of the several arguments, several data, and several facts that I have delivered to you, we at the end of the day strongly disagree with our motion today, which says this House believes that handphones should be banned at schools, ladies and gentlemen. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the reply, speaker from the opposite team. Now that's the end of your debating competitions. So please once again give both teams a big applause for giving us such a pleasant and exceptional performance. So before you leave the stage, I would like, on behalf of the audiences and all the people here, I would like to appreciate the groups and of course all the debate groups that since 3 days ago have given us such a exceptional and fair debate, and we actually know that behind their performers there are countless of hard workers, hardworking, and a lot of things that they have to sacrifice, including their sleep time or also study time. And also I understand that we need to appreciate you guys, that you have a guts to perform in front of a lot of people. That is something that not all of people can do that. So once again, give them applause. Okay, so of course, you guys also already has set such a high bar, high standard, such a high standard for the debaters in across the Ngada Regency. So what I can say is that please keep being motivated to learning and keep improving your English skills. And yeah, and of course, please also help your friends to learning English. Okay, thank you so much. Please go back to your seat.